I'm going to give you a yarn about the time two women who were real close to me OD'd on heroin. Now I'm telling you this because I don't want your mistakes to rub off onto someone else and affect them later on in life. These are childhood traumas that still affect me 24 years later. Now, I don't lose no sleep over this or anything like that, but from time to time, the images still pop into my head because this was pretty freaky what I'd seen. So look, these two women, I'm not going to say who, but they were pretty close to me. I've known them pretty much my whole life, yeah? They wanted me to get some money out for them, 150 bucks. Now, I had to go down to the main ATM down at the shopping centre, which was about 15 minutes on a push bike, half an hour there and back. They said to me, I'll give you 20 bucks if you go down and get this money out for us. I'm like, yeah, sweet. They said, take your time, no rush. Now, I wasn't in a rush myself. I was actually waiting around that area for some lads to get home. They were out and about doing whatever. So I had a couple of hours to burn myself. Now, I jumped on my pushy, right? And usually when I'm in that area, going that way to the shopping centre and shit, I'll stop and talk to some people. There's always people out and about. Anyone who grew up in the suburbs, you know what I mean. There's always someone that you know, fixing a car, kicking a footy, out talking shit, doing laps, whatever, you know what I mean? There's always someone doing something. So anyway, I remember riding me pushy to the shopping centre and I did see a couple of blokes that I knew, a couple of young fellas, whatever. Hey, Aga, yeah man, boom, I just kept riding. I didn't stop, I didn't bother talking to them, where normally I would have, but it's like I was possessed and it was God's will for me to get there and back as quick as I did. No shit, right? Now, I remember just hooking it all the way there, got the money out and I hooked it all the way back. Now, you come through the car park, right, on the way back and there's these two timber posts either side and there's a walkway in the middle, right? Sometimes me and the boys would go full speed and bunny hop through it, but our handlebars would nick it from time to time. So it was pretty risky. This day I'm like, stuff it, I'm going for it. So I come flying through the car park, bunny hopped up the gutter and went straight through these timber posts and I didn't hit it. I just cleared it and boom, I went straight through. I was like, mad. It was just a real good ride. One of them rides, you know, back when you were a young fella and you're on your pushy doing wheelies everywhere, you bunny hop and you don't hit the gutter and shit. Just a cruisy ride, man. It was mad. I was just scooting along everywhere. Come down the ramp, boom, over the medium strip on the back wheel, just up and over gutters, boom, flogged it back. Well, I got back to this house in record time, man. I'm telling you, it would not have been half an hour. It would have been like 25 minutes, 28 minutes or something like that. So anyway, I remember putting the bike down and walking through this front door. Well, one of the two ladies was on her hands and knees crawling, right? She was off her face, like she just OD'd on the shit, right? Well, I didn't know exactly what she had, but I knew it was either H, Rowies, Normies or Zennies or something like that to do that to him. Like, I was pretty familiar with that sort of stuff at a very young age anyway, so I knew it was something. I remember rushing up to her, getting underneath her and helping her up and just asking her what was wrong with her and that. Anyway, she didn't tell me straight off the bat what was going on. She just said she needed to go sit on the toilet, right? I don't know, she was a girl, a woman, whatever, done something to her belly. It didn't sit right with her. She needed to go to the toilet, righto. Boom, so I remember carrying her into the toilet. I sat down, I left the door half open. I said, you keep talking to me. Well, I've turned around to see where the other one was, and the other one was in a spare room, crossed up on the ground, bad, like this. Like, the worst thing I'd ever seen at that age, man. Even still, probably to this day. Both her eyes were like this. One was pointing straight, and the other one was pointing that way. She looked like a hammerhead shark, man. And her eyes were half open too, blue around the lips, mouth open. Her leg was under her back. Like, she must have had her thing and hit the deck, and that's the way she stayed. Like, she was bad. And I just remember them eyes, mate. Her eyes didn't come back for fucking, man, I'd say half an hour. They were still real wonky and shit. Like, it dead set knocked her for 6 and it freaked me out. Well, I remember seeing her like this and I just grabbed her and shook the shit out of her, calling her name, screaming at her, wake up. I did this for a few seconds. I can't remember exactly how long, but it was 20 seconds at least, just shaking the piss out of her. And I remember she started moaning, and she came to. Now, I just went and got a cup of water and shit and tipped it on her and just tried to do my best to keep her awake. I remember in the end, I ended up giving them both a cup of water and I was talking to them. But during the process, I remember saying it 2 or 3 times, I'm going to call the ambulance. They both said no ambulance. They didn't want me to draw any heat to that house, whatever, right? I figured it out that they'd had some H. One of them, the lady that was on the ground real bad, she had the drug needle hanging out of her pocket. I could still see the tip of it. It had a lid on it, and I remember just pushing it down so you couldn't see it no more. I didn't know if I was going to call the ambulance or whatnot. It wasn't a good look, but was what it was, man. I was only a young fella, you know what I mean? 13, 14 years old. That's pretty hectic for someone at that age to go through that. But I went through it. I'm a soldier. I think I'm built for this sort of shit, you know what I mean? Deep down, I'm a little bit tougher than other people, so it was all good, man. I got through it and I helped them out. I sat with them for probably 40 minutes. They were both talking, they were both good, and I was happy enough to just grab me 20 bucks and go about my day. They were pretty persistent to just give me the money and don't call the ambos, and they were fine, so it was what it was, man. I remember I caught up with a couple of the boys that I was waiting on, and I never said nothing to any of them. I said something to one of them who needed to know. All right, I'm not going to say too much about it, but one of the blokes, he needed to know. And everyone else, nah, I didn't say shit to him, mate. I kept it to myself for a lot of years. I never repeated this. A couple of people who were close to me, a few of my close family members know about it, but no one else, mate. This is the first time I'm talking about it. And I'm only doing it because I don't want someone else's mistake to rub off onto someone else young, because that's what it does, mate. It's a trickle effect. It traumatizes people. And I've always said it, man. It's not only you going through this, it's other people around you. It's people who care about you, your loved ones, your kids, whoever, whatever. It's not just you, mate. So I thought I'd run that one by you, mate. Now, the story goes like this with these two women as well, and I do believe this, was that they were given a bag of H because someone else thought it was speed. These guys weren't heroin addicts at all, and I know this for a fact. I've never known them to have it before or even after this. It wasn't their thing. So they got given something that they thought was something else, and they've had it thinking it was speed, and that's what it done to them. And that's really all I've got to say about it. That's all I really know about it. But I was there firsthand, mate, and I don't know what would have happened, especially to that skinnier woman who was crossed up like that. I don't think she would have made it, mate. To tell you the truth, she was already blue around the lips and she was unresponsive. The way her eyes were and that, she was drifting off, mate. She was hammered. So, yeah, it is what it is, mate. All these years later, it still pops into my head from time to time, mate. And they're them childhood traumas right there that I talk about from other people's mistakes. Do you know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong. I know I've done things in the past that I'm not proud of, and I probably rubbed off onto someone else the wrong way, doing my crime and all that sort of stuff. I get that. But this was at a young age, man. I was just a young fellow. I didn't ask for none of that. You know what I mean? And I think it was God's will, but for me to pedal the way that I pedaled to and from, to get back as quick as I did, man, because they're both still alive to this day, and it is what it is, mate. So, yeah, I just thought I'd run that one by you anyway, mate. Some of them childhood traumas, they stick around forever.